If you're interested in going to Curacao, you're going to want to see this right now. Welcome everyone to K&J Travels. My name is Juan Verde, and you're going to want to see this video if you're interested in Curacao, because I am going to give you our experience of Curacao that me and my wife took over a month ago. But before we get started, please hit the like and subscribe and the notification bell. Support our channel. We want to continue to give you the best content possible. We have videos from Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Paris, and New York, as well as Cabo. So experience in watching all of those videos. If you're interested in any of those places, we're very informative. I know you have many choices that you have in picking the right person and the right content creator of searching the best travel or to entertain. We hope you choose us as well. So I hope your support. We welcome your support. So please like and subscribe. So let's get started. So over a month ago, we took a trip to Curacao and we spent about a week over there, me and my wife. And our experience, we're going to give you our experience from the moment of the flight. We're going to tell you about the resort. We'll tell you about the various destinations we visited and the tour that we suggest that you should definitely take in your trip to Curacao. So let's get started. We booked our trip on December 10th to the 16th, and the first thing we did was we booked our flight. And what we did was my wife actually booked the flight. We had some points from Copa Airlines. If you've not experienced Copa Airlines, usually those flights go like to Panama and Brazil, Dominican Republic, more down south for the most part. So back in April of last year, we actually booked our flight. Then we had some points we could use from the past. So if you happen to be a member of Copa Airlines and you have some points available, if you're a member, you can use it. And they have an expiration date, and they actually expired later in 2024. We didn't want those to go to waste. So we decided to book our flight and paid a little extra for the business class, since our flight on our layover to Panama, when we booked it, is about 6 hours. So we paid about $500 a piece for the upgrade of business class. You don't have to do that, by the way. You can just book it. They got some fairly decent prices. It all depends at what time you book it. And if you book early, like usual, you usually get a better price. And it's also when you book. So if like on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, as opposed to like the weekend, you get a better price. And there's some like tricks to the trade on when to book it and not to put in your information, because what happens is they pick it up and then they end up charging you more of an expensive price if you go back and if you're indecisive about booking that flight at that time. So what we did, we booked that flight in April. We used our points, plus we used the business class by paying extra. And then when we got to the resort, we booked through Priceline. My wife booked through Priceline a month before we left. Usually I would recommend about 3 months or earlier if you plan out your vacation. But because we had a lot of things going on, we actually took a trip to Cabo in October, early October. And when we decided to book for December, in the middle of that, we actually had some big family decisions where we decided to make a move from one place to another. So that was also in play. And then we were kind of, squeezing that last trip in, because we did not want to let those points that we had for Copa Airlines to go to waste. So all that stuff was going on. So my wife waited to a month out in order to book it. We got a decent price on Priceline. You could try other websites, but Priceline is what we did. Try Priceline as far as trying to get the best price, but I would recommend you book your flight earlier in advance. The earlier the better, and then just kind of play around with different websites and see if you're able to book. And then as well, on the way back, we also booked with American Airlines on the way back, so we actually got a decent price there as well. Sometimes if you have points, or if you have an American Airlines credit card, which initially they give you a certain amount of points, you could also use that towards a flight that you can get discounted or maybe for free. So try that as well. So we ended up doing that. As far as the resort, our plan was to stay one night at the Dreams, and then we actually booked some bungalows that just opened, or we were told that they were going to be debut in late November. Quick note about the resorts, all inclusive. I got to tell you, everything is all inclusive. You don't have to pay for food. You don't have to pay for drinks. All of that is included. Now, if you want to book at the Zoetry, you get the better alcohol, obviously. If you go to the Mare, you get the upscale alcohol. So if you go to the Dreams, that is not true. So just know that if you want the better liquor, that is the way to go. Go to the Zoetry, go to the Mare as opposed to the Dreams, because the reality is, I mean, unless you like that type of liquor that they serve, that's fine. It's cool. I don't have a problem with it. But for people that don't want to get that hangover, you want the better liquor, the better drinks, Zoetry and Mare, those are the way to go. So that was the plan. We wanted to stay for one night at the Dreams, and we did book that. We booked a junior suite, oceanfront. It's actually an oceanfront junior suite at the Dreams for one night, and then we were supposed to move to the new bungalows so we can experience the new bungalow experience at that private beach called the Mare. So that was supposed to debut in late November. That's what was advertised by the resort, and that's not what happened. So I'll get to that later. So as far as the room is concerned, the room at the Dreams, I actually liked it. It was spacious. They had a big balcony. I liked it. So as far as the room, I liked the room. But the experience at the Dreams is a little different from the other two resorts I'm going to get into a little later. So one, the Dreams, they have various restaurants, but the customer service or the service there is a little mediocre in my opinion. So, for example, we went to the World Cafe. It was a buffet that had a lot of good food, but as far as service, all they do is they just clean up after you. They don't really ask you for anything to drink. At least that was by my experience and my wife's experience. But the food actually there is good. There's a variety of food there. It's a pretty big buffet, but as far as anything extra, that's not what we got. That could be different from somebody else, but I'm just giving you our experience at that moment we were there. And as far as booking like the restaurants there, it's kind of a little difficult. So there's issues with that there. After that one night, we stayed at the Dreams at that suite. Since we were supposed to be, our original reservation was to get to the bungalows. Unfortunately, that wasn't available to us. They had told us when we booked that those bungalows weren't available at that time. So they needed to find a solution for us. Unfortunately, they didn't give us a solution on that day, but upon supposedly checking out for that one night in the room, they found us a room at the Zoetry. So the Zoetry is a sister property of Dreams, and that was across the way, and that was felt like more of a private villa. There's only like one restaurant there. There's a few other restaurants there that open a certain amount of time. We didn't get to experience that. And the service there was very, very good. You do have a couple of personal people that can help you around there. The bar is great. The bar flora, as well as the pool, was amazing as well. And then the bartender on the other side was amazing as well. So, I mean, the Zoetry was definitely better service. We loved it. It was much better food. You get obviously room service 24 hours. So that was definitely a game changer. I was kind of skeptical to see where they were going to take us since the Mare wasn't open at that time. And we're talking about on December 12th, where we were supposed to be available to check into the bungalows, but they told us at that time that it wasn't available. So we go to the Zoetry. We loved the experience. The check-in experience was great. They got us into a nice room. It was pretty spacious as well. I liked the balcony. If you saw the video, I'll put a video in the description. If you guys have not seen the video of our first night in Curaçao, and it will show exactly the rooms that we're talking about. So just want to let you know that as far as the rooms there, go with the Zoetry if you're interested in booking a room. Yes, it's probably a better price at the Dreams. Just know that if you really want to get the most of what you're paying for, I like the Zoetry, and then I will get to the Mare a little bit later. But our experience, like I said, took us there. There's just a variety of options. Yes, there's only one restaurant called The Bloom, and The Bloom has a bunch of great food. Like I said, there was like this Caribbean salmon. There was a filet mignon. We had for lunch we had the shrimp tacos were really, really good. So there were definitely items there that were very, very good. And like I said, the Zoetry is definitely the one to go. Now let's get to the Mare. The Mare is where the private beach, there's a beautiful bar there. There's a beautiful pool that looks over like the beach. And then that's where the private bungalows or the bungalow area is located. So it wasn't until our third or fourth night that they were doing a soft opening. So anybody that checked in maybe 2 days or 3 days later than we did, they got to experience firsthand what exactly are in those bungalows. I was not privy to look inside. They did give me a slight tour before this soft opening. I had no knowledge of this soft opening until I found out from a different guest days later when we went to visit that. And I actually have a video of that, and I'll give you all the videos in the description so you know exactly what I'm referring to. From the looks of it, right now, if you were to book right now and you were to go recently and you were to pick the Mare, I don't know at this point they have a big enough staff to handle all the rooms. And I saw about at least 50 rooms in that area. That's why they have very little service right now, and they only have very little staff around that area, because I believe they just don't have the staff capable of just handling a massive occupancy of the property. So maybe give it a few months down the line. You could take a risk and actually try it out. I think it's going to do great. So I think it's going to be really good. The thing is, you're going to have patience, and you're probably going to need some feedback. They are going to need some feedback as far as what can they do to get better, because they're kind of also doing some trial and error with what their system might be. I would give it about 6 months at least before you book, and maybe things have changed, but at that time we got a first hand of what that looked like. And right now it's very little. It's just barely, down to the bare skeleton bones of like the staff and this. So if you happen to book and you happen to attend anytime soon, just know that they might be working out some kinks. Let's get into the destinations we visited in our trip. First one was the Canepa Grande Beach, and then the other one was Grande Beach, also called Pescado Beach. So let's get into the Canepa Grande Beach. Both of them are about 45 minutes away from the resort. So let me get into quick how we got there. We rented a car. We rented through Budget Rent-A-Car. We also did that through Priceline. You could go through any other rent-a-car company, but I definitely strongly recommend that you rent a car there, because there are no Ubers. I'm going to tell you this right now. There are no Ubers. There's taxis, and it's very expensive. So you're going to want to get a rent-a-car. The driving experience there is very easy. It's comfortable. It's like in the United States. They've got these long scenic roads. It's not dangerous. There's nothing that makes you feel like you're going to be having a head on a swivel in terms of driving in Curaçao. So I just want to make that very, very clear. Rent a car when you're going to these places. It's totally worth it. So first, let's go to the Canepa Beach. We traveled about 45 minutes north of the resort. It was a great experience. I mean, it's a beautiful blue beach. I was told there's sea turtles there. You can snorkel there. They got a snack bar. They also got different food options there. They had a Brazilian place that were selling piranhas, so that was pretty cool. So definitely recommend that if you are traveling somewhere. There are various beaches in Curaçao that you can visit, but we visited that one, and we visited the Pescado Beach, otherwise known as Grande Beach, also equipped with a snack bar, snorkeling, and right there they have free Wi-Fi. That's the difference. They have free Wi-Fi there. They have to pay for. You pay about like $2-3, and then they give you a code, and you have Wi-Fi in the area. It was pretty smart. They also catch fish there. They have a fish of the day on their menu that they actually catch fish out there in the water, and they're actually like cutting it up and everything nice and fresh and serving it, you know, and cooking it in the kitchen if you guys are looking to do that. But also there's sea turtles and fishes there, and that's mostly where I got my footage of those 2 sea turtles. And if you happen you didn't see that, definitely check it out in the video, because that was an amazing experience. So what happens is, if you ended up tipping the guy, I think like $10, he could actually called over some sea turtles, fed them, and then he would have been like you'd have been near them and petting them and stuff like that. But I didn't choose to do that. I just wanted to get some footage of the sea turtles before he left. The beaches usually close like at 5 o'clock. They kind of shut down shop. The snack bar closes. They also have umbrellas and your layout bed that you choose. They also rent out for about $5 a piece. So those get shut down around 5 o'clock, and they end up leaving. And they open the beach as early as, I heard, 9 o'clock, as what I've heard and where I was told. So those were the 2 destinations for sure. You should visit all the beaches if you could. There are various beaches you guys can visit, but definitely rent a car. And then the other place we visited is the Queen's Emma Bridge. Now that's definitely a monument, definitely to go visit. The area is beautiful. I mean, the way the bridge just slides open and close is something I've never seen before. It's on like these rafts and almost like all these floaters where it can open and close. And we went at night because during the holidays, obviously, if you go in December, everything's illuminated. There's a lot of Christmas cheer and stuff like that. So we went at night. We did go during the day. Unfortunately, we went on a Sunday, which I found out that they close everything on a Sunday. So nothing is open on a Sunday. So if you ever happen to visit over there, it's basically going to be a ghost town. But there's many things to visit there. When you cross the bridge, there's like different little monuments there, like the statue of the Chi-Chi, which is one of the symbolic things that they have in Curacao. They actually have the long signs of Curaçao and the Duchy as well. So that is definitely a great place to visit. There's shops there. So when they're open, there's a lot of shops there. So you can do your shopping there if you wanted to. So that's definitely a place to go. And that's actually 15 minutes away from the resort that we're at. So that's actually a closer drive. There's more, obviously, traffic signals on that side as opposed to going to the beach. It's more scenic. So definitely take a trip to the Emma's Queen Bridge. Is definitely a sight to see. It's amazing. You see a bunch of boats hanging out or crossing the bridge. And if by any chance you don't get a chance to cross the bridge, because sometimes when it opens and closes, it takes about 45 minutes for them to like reopen the bridge for you to cross, you could take the ferry that will get you to the other side. So if you're not willing to wait 45 minutes and you really want to get across the way, the ferry is available a little bit down the way as well. So try that out. So let's get into the tour that we chose to go. In my opinion, it's the #1 tour definitely you should take when going to Curacao. I know you could do boogies and stuff like that, but visiting the Klein Island, Little Curacao is what they call it. The Klein Curaçao Island is by far the best tour you should take, no doubt. We took that tour through Mermaid Tours. I will leave the link in the description, but it's pretty awesome. But this is how it works. It's $140 per person, and if you want them to pick you up, it's $14 per person. So unless you have a car and you're willing to head out and drive to the spot and park at the port where the boat is gonna end up set sailing, you could drive there and you'll save yourself $14 per person. If not, they can pick you up in a van, but you gotta wake up early in the morning, and depending how far you are, you gotta be ready at 6 in the morning. So just be prepared for that if you're interested in getting picked up. But that's the cost of the tour at the time that we decided to book it. Those prices might change, I don't know, but that's what we paid for the tour. And it was just a wonderful experience. They feed you breakfast and lunch. Although breakfast was just nothing cooked, it was just simply like sandwiches. So just know that likely for breakfast, it's just some sandwiches, but you do get an awesome meal and a buffet for lunch. So that was pretty cool. We ended up getting like barbecue and then there's rice, and there's just various things that were in that buffet that were very, very good. But the tour of Klein Curacao was awesome. It's in about an hour and a half away, and just going on the boat about an hour and a half. They also sell drinks there. That's the difference. The drinks are not included. You could actually bring your own. We actually did that. I brought a cooler and brought my own drink. You want to also set yourself up in a hut, and that is first come, first serve. So the good thing about mermaid tours, as opposed to the other tours, there's like 2 or 3 other tours there, is they got their own property on the island. As opposed to the other tours, they basically do their setup on the boat. So I think they serve lunch on the boat, and they serve drinks if they're included on the boat. As opposed to mermaid, everything is actually on the island. And there's sea turtles there. There's different monuments that you could look at, like the lighthouse. I ended up going all the way to the top of the lighthouse, and the shipwreck that's on the other side of the island. So you can literally walk the entire island. You could also go snorkeling. I actually took some footage of some fish there, but it is a beautiful beach. The water is crystal clear, like most beaches, but that one in particular is just awesome. One thing I definitely would recommend for all the beaches that you attend, water shoes. Bring your water shoes. I forgot to bring my water shoes, and there are rocks there, and it can hurt. Trust me, bring your water shoes. It is way more comfortable walking through those rocks in all the beaches. I mean, all the beaches have their amount of rocks all over the place, and trust me, if you're there barefoot, it could be uncomfortable at best, and at worst it could be painful. So definitely want to do that. So the tour, like I said, is awesome. You're going to want to do that. It's an all-day thing, and I definitely recommend it. Let's talk about nightlife. So on our trip to Curacao, we went to one place called Live. Live is actually located about 10 to 15 minutes away from the resort. It's a pretty awesome place. I mean, that night that we went very, very early. People get there like at 12 or 1. So like in New York or Vegas, people don't start partying till like 12 or 1. I don't know if anybody of you are maybe interested in that, but for the people that are, that's the only reason I'm explaining it. And at that particular club, they serve 1942 for $10 before midnight. So if you happen to get there early, like at 10 or 11, like me and my wife did, we actually had $10 drinks and $10 shots at $10 of 1942. So that's kind of like what they offered to get you in the door. But it's a nice place. The location looks good. The music is great. I don't know how packed it can get because we only stayed until like 12 or 1. So at the moment people were walking in, we were walking out. So if you're interested in the nightlife, Live is just one place. There are various other places. We did not get a chance to experience anywhere else, but we experienced just that one, and we wanted to tell you about that one. Let's talk about the languages. So if you don't speak any of the other language, yes, they do speak English, but they also speak Portuguese, Spanish, and I forgot the dialect that they speak in Curaçao, but for the most part, and they speak Dutch. So if you know Dutch, you know Portuguese, you know Spanish, they know all those languages. That's the good thing about Curaçao. They are multicultural. You'll see a lot of Europeans there, by the way, a lot of like Dutch people there, but the people, the natives there, the locals, they speak, for the most part, they speak all those languages. So if you happen just to speak Spanish, you're just a Spanish speaker. There are most Curacao people that speak Spanish, or if you speak Portuguese, there's a lot of Brazilians that visit Curacao, so that's why they speak Portuguese. And then but the way to get around, the people are great, the people are friendly, so language isn't a problem. You can get by depending, and they speak English, so you don't have to worry about like this language barrier with the people of Curacao, so you won't have a problem with that. Currency. So the local currency in Curacao is the Antillean guilders, but they take dollars. So understand this. They do take dollars. Yes, they do take their local money. Like if you're at a local place, yes, some may not take that. So could be recommended to make the exchange for the local currency there. But for the most part, they take dollars and they take credit cards. So for example, if you get a rent-a-car, it was recommended to me that they usually take cash. They could take it in dollars, but we actually found a few gas stations that take card. And a little tip: when you pay with your credit card and they give you that question, or they'll ask you that question about, do you like it in dollars or do you like it in their local currency? Always choose the local currency. Don't charge the dollar, because they'll end up charging you more for the value of that product that you're purchasing, because the local currency will eventually, when it's transferred into dollars in your credit card statement, ends up being less than have you chosen the dollar on the credit card purchase. Trust me, it's happened many, many times. And this is actually true when you go anywhere in the country. If I go, because I've been to Paris and I've either chosen the euro or the dollar for my credit card transaction. You want to choose the euro, because what happens is they end up charging a little more for the dollar. So the price of that item will end up being a little bit more expensive than as if you were choosing the local currency. So definitely, if you're paying by credit card anywhere or Apple Pay, you want to choose the local currency when they ask you that question. So be prepared for that. My overall experience of the trip, I really liked it. But if I wanted to give it like a rating from 1 to 10, 0 to 10, I would give it an 8.5 to be fair, because there was a lot of things I liked, like I said. I mean, the resorts were beautiful. The beaches are beautiful. The atmosphere is great. The people are great. You know, speaking their language is amazing. The tour of Curaçao is definitely a must. The only thing that, if you're looking for R&R, this is definitely the place for you. But if you're looking to party, that's where I didn't give it, even a higher rating. Because if it had that balance of, if you want to party, you go there as well as R&R, then I would give it a higher rating, like a 9.5 or whatever. That's why I'm giving it an 8.5. But if you're definitely an R&R person, or you're older and partying is not your thing, yeah, you would give it a 9 or a 10, definitely, because it's chilled. You could do a bunch of stuff. And as far as the resort experience was good in the Zoetry and the Mare for a little. I mean, it's all beautiful, but it's new. We didn't really get the full potential of, let's say, Mare. And as far as the Zoetry, I mean, Bloom is amazing, but that's all you really get. Just know that if you go there, it's beautiful. I mean, the service is amazing there, but just know that your only one option is to dine at that one restaurant. As opposed to like the room of the dreams was great, but the rest of the stuff was just a little average for me. It didn't wow me. That's what I want to say. So just know that if you choose the dreams, yes, it's a little bit more affordable and stuff like that. Just know that, you won't get wowed, as opposed to like Zoetry. You'll definitely, but there's only one restaurant, and at the Mare, it's fairly new. So you don't really know the potential of that resort. But going to the beaches, in Curaçao are amazing. Obviously, I didn't get a chance to experience all of it. And then definitely the tour of Curaçao, that was definitely a 10. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, if you want to go see some sea turtles and stuff like that, snorkeling, that is the place to be. But it's definitely a great R&R if you're looking for that. If you're looking for some action, maybe, I mean, there's some limitations there. I could be wrong, but only if anybody else has experienced anything like that in Curaçao, please feel free to tell me in the comments and let me know about your experience in Curaçao. I think it's definitely worth it. So I definitely recommend it. If you're thinking about going to Curaçao, yes, I would do it again. But by the way, since we were not given the opportunity to stay at those bungalows, what the good thing that the resort offered is they offered us a certificate, a voucher to come back for 4 free nights there. So that's the good thing that they allowed and they gave us, because we didn't get to experience the bungalows at the time of our original reservation. So they made it up to us, and we're going to get an opportunity to come back. And I definitely want to come back, regardless whether they would have gave us the voucher or not. I would come back anyways, but we are going to definitely come back within a year. That thing expires in a year. So we have until December to come back and experience those bungalows. And hopefully we'll be able to get some footage for you from there, so you know what that experience is like. So there you have it. Once again, please like and subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and support our channel, as we want to be able to give you great content, like I said. And not only that, tell at least 3 other people about our channel, about our content, so that could maybe inspire them and motivate them to want to take a vacation. And that's what I hope to gain in hoping to send that message to each and every one of you, that can motivate to finally take a vacation for yourself and treat yourself as well as you should, because you guys work hard and you guys might need one of that one day. And trust me, it doesn't matter where you go or how much you pay for a vacation, as long as you take it. You want to be able to do that. There's many other choices in content creation that you could watch for a review, or watch their content for entertainment or information. We hope you choose us, and we thank you that you do choose us for our vacation channel review and so on. But like and subscribe. Till next time, safe travel.